Hello guys, and welcome to what might just be the last episode in our Hungary campaign here in Victoria 2 with the historical flavor mod. So, we are back here. Maybe for the last time. We have 6 years or so left in the game. So, yep, a bunch of nations are going bankrupt. That's normal for whenever you load a save. Let's see. Sure, we could still do with a bit more literacy. We were at 100%, but we have been successfully making states, well, a couple of states throughout Africa. So have the French, it seems. Yeah, this general region, doesn't it have a... No, I don't think this is the same country. Yeah, this is Togo, and this is Ghana, yeah. Although Togo has Corsair. Who owns this today? I don't actually know. I would guess Ghana, if I had to guess. Which I guess I just... Well, I didn't have to, but... blah blah blah. My point is... I don't think I had a point there. Let's give good pensions. Or, I don't know. Yeah, we're kind of losing money, although we can probably... Yeah, it shouldn't be too hard to fix that. We are not taxing our people too much. Hey, the Italians want an alliance. Excellent. Yeah, they refused to join our war against Austria in the previous episode, which was a nice little war. We were able to, well, if not dismantle Austria, we were able to cut them down to size a bit. Well, not in terms of the actual CB, but we were able to release the nation of Galicia Lodomeria, which is a Polish... Yeah, it's just Polish little nation. I guess they can form Poland, but I doubt that's going to happen in this playthrough. And Slovenia. They're both spherelings of ours. We have quite the sphere empire, if you will. All of south or southeastern Europe or something like that is under our control. And yeah, the borders are not optimal for this mess, but it's not much we can do about that. Okay, we are kind of losing a lot of money. Let's tax the fuck out of people. What is going on actually? Why are we doing so bad? Our industry is shit as always. Yeah, that small arms factory. Small arms are important and all, but can we even... Okay, yeah, well, can chill with the military spending, but yeah, okay, well, yeah, I don't know. Our economy generally has been pretty decent in this playthrough, especially early on. It was surprisingly... Oh god, what is going on here? Galician fascist. Well, that didn't take long. Yeah, I don't know. I can't be asked to deal with that, so let's go solve it. I will not tolerate random fascists memeing about in my sphereling, buddy. You a monarchy? Yes. I guess maybe he inherited my absolute monarchy. Okay, so I guess they don't inherit your government form, but I guess maybe monarchy is just a standard. Are my tank sprites messed up, or are they supposed to look like this? Well, they do actually sort of animate, so I guess they are supposed to look like that. I don't know. Normally your tanks look like the British ones, or do they? Oh, I don't even remember. Can we see any German tanks? No? Or any tanks of anyone, really? Huh, no, well, I don't know. Well, still though, that's interesting. Yeah, we got some planes now, some armor, some shit. Okay, this is interesting. For some reason, we're actually allowed to influence Austria, despite the fact that they are in our sphere. Or I mean, despite the fact that we have the truce with them. I guess maybe that's the reason. You know, the fact that we were able to sphere them despite having a truce. Not sure. Still though, the British are trying to steal Albania from me. I mean, they just removed them from my sphere, so we're gonna have to undo that. Woo! Sarajevo integrated into Hungary. A core province. Excellent. Of course, the core map mode looks a bit ugly, but it's not like that's much of a thing. Gain humiliate can spell against Romania. I mean, they're in my sphere, so I don't really see how that would be a thing. Lost some influence there, I'm gonna have to gain that back. in case the Russians come knocking, although the Russians are actually hostile. Yeah, after the fascist revolution, looks like most people gave up. Oh, sweet! A state in Cyrenica. Fuck yes. Yeah, yes, significant Hungarian minorities here, so now we can get some industry and shit like that. It's really cool. I mean, our colonial migration has been surprisingly awesome in this playthrough. Can we make Tunisia a state, maybe? No, not really. Too many people live there already. I don't know what else we could possibly get. We're already hard at work over there. There was like this state, wasn't it? That had like some Hungarians in it. I guess so. There are too many other natives here for the Hungarians to make too much of a percentage. I guess we can look at the actual like population thingies here. See where we can find ourselves some Hungarians. 1.6, not noticeable. 1.4, 3% in Hausaland. I guess that was the one I was looking at, I think. Yeah, no, that was 3% there. How many... Yeah, I mean, we got... No, never mind, we did not... Let's see, where is... Oh yeah, that's right, Cyrenica is a state now. Cyrenica... Yeah, so Cyrenica had almost 10%, so that explains why we were able to get that one. Niger has no one, Eritrea has 6%, so that might be doable. It's a bit late in the game though, so... Yeah, we can try over here. Once again, it's too late in the game to Oh, Wadai has 12%. Let's do that instead then. Wadai. Let's see. Yeah, instead of Eritrea. Surely that will be possible. Where's Wadai anyways? Is this Wadai? Ah, this is Wadai. Yeah, 0.71% already, so that might just be doable. Let's actually get some increased tax income. Hey, look at this! We're actually getting some integration. Oh, look at that, yeah, the province just flipped. It is now light green with Croatian colored stripes instead of the other way around. We might even get some Hungarian stripes here soon as well. Oh, actually, yeah, it will be... It might just flip entirely to Hungarian, actually, because it's currently purely Serbian color. So you might just see it go entirely Hungarian. Because... Oh, okay, not quite there yet, I don't know. Maybe by the... Oh, okay, never mind. So it can't quite seem to decide. Come on, local Croatians, assimilate! Incorporate yourself into the Hungarian national identity. Huh. Guyana went fascist and has claimed its neighbor's territory. That might actually be completely standard. I'm not actually sure how that works, but it's still interesting. So the Germans have gone to war with France and Russia, but sadly they haven't decided... Well, yeah, no, they've decided not to call me in. Which for once I would probably actually accept. So what's up with the flag of Liberia? Oh, Liberia has become a monarchy. Well, there you are. Yeah, yeah, I was talking about a war against Russia. But I most definitely want that to be a war together with Germany, because I can't beat France. And the odds of me beating yeah, no, I can't declare war on my own. Even if I could convince the Italians to join. Although the Italians have proven themselves to not necessarily be that trustworthy previously when we invaded Austria, so I'm not going to risk it. I know, I'm being boring. Come on, Germany. Why would you not call... You have called me into so many just completely ridiculous wars. If you would call in Italy and me... Hey, Livno. Where's that? That's Livno. Ah. Sweet. Wow, I only now researched investment banks, which means I have completely not been able to do this decision, which is a bit embarrassing. And you know, it increases the potential of people being able to work in the RDOs, which is obviously rather important, because, you know, that's where the money from these provinces come from, because you can't have industry in them. Oh, it also kind of looks like we are barely not going to get to the point where we can turn these places into states before the... Oh my god, that's so close. Just Come on, let me turn Tripolitania into a state before the game ends. Please. Oh my god, it's 99% here as well! Come on! And we could incorporate it if I had the points, which we can now not get because we don't have enough time to build fucking boats. Well, poop. Yeah. 1% here as well now. Come on, give me the option. At least tell me that I don't have enough points or whatever. Ah, never mind, we can do it. Awesome. Bam! All of Libya is officially incorporated as a state. Also, the British have somehow managed to turn a bunch of Egypt into states. How did you pull that off? Oh, there's been a bunch of British immigration into Egypt for some reason. Wow. Okay. Yeah, this land down here as well. Holy shit, it's super English. I don't know, we're gonna look at that more, well, actually, any day now. African Minds and Memes, there we are. Okay, so it's the 1st of January 1936 and the Hungary campaign has come to an official end. So it's time to do the traditional tour of the world where we look at all of the insanity that has been going on. Yeah, we'll start with the political map mode, I guess. You guys should be used to this Europe by now. Sadly, the Ottomans never got around to conquering the Al-Rashid Emirate, who was actually able to civilize. And presumably go, well, it didn't go fascist. But if they had voting, they definitely would have. So, Yemen is a British puppet. Oman is a sphereling. Yeah, so this is our nation. This is how it ended up. Basically, these borders have been the borders since very early in the campaign, but they're so pretty though, you have to agree on that. I don't see what you can do to improve these Hungarian borders. I mean, you could conquer Slovenia and it would look fine still, but it's still not as pretty as this, in my opinion. I might even want to give up on the city of Fayoum. But Fayoum is actually one of the few provinces that start out with some Hungarians in it, so I didn't want to give it up. Also, there is Gur people here. Guess that's some African ethnicity. Oh no, immigrants in the comment section. I don't know. Jokes aside. Ireland is united somehow. Free and united, but in the sphere of the British, and they hate me, of all things. Norway, Sweden, this is all normal. Iceland is a puppet of the Danish. Greenland, or as we know it here in Norway, occupied parts of Norway. Holy shit, they really Danified it. Man, well, I guess it is properly a part of Denmark in this timeline then. In North America, things are a bit odd. For some reason, Canada never got around to colonizing these provinces. I've noticed this, yeah, I noticed this much earlier, but never cared to point it out. I don't know why. I don't know what's going on here. Must be some bug, because this is not normal. There's no reason why Canada wouldn't colonize it. There should also... shouldn't there be events to colonize this place, or is that not how that works? Not really sure. America is completely as it is today, it looks like. So that's boring. Cuba, yeah, this is very much how it looks today. Other than the fact that, you know, a couple of islands, well, most islands, small islands, are still colonized. Although the United States somehow got their hands on the Lesser Antilles. I guess that happened when the Dutch got dismantled. We got the Empire of Brazil. I guess that's pretty normal. And, you know, other than that, South America looks pretty standard. Africa is one of the better looking Africas I've seen in this game so far, I would argue. Other than this little abomination, the French really should have gotten around to conquering these territories, but, you know. When you consider the normal way Africa looks, this is, well... this is not very good. And, you know, if the British are going to release Southern Rhodesia, they really should have done the same for Malawi. So, also, like Britain, dude, don't take this territory, although it's actually a state. I guess it's the Angoche state. Yeah, I think that's like an independent state in the beginning, so I guess they conquered that before the Portuguese got to. French Madagascar couldn't be more standard. India is having some odd name placement, it seems. So Rajputana has appeared, so I guess that's like a unification of a bunch of smaller states here. Awadh has somehow lost its status as a satellite. Yeah, that seems to be a theme. For some reason the majority of these Indian puppet states are no longer actually puppets, except for Rajputana. But that even has a British flag, so I guess that makes sense. France has taken the majority of Indochina, with its historical borders, except for the British, who swooped in and took Annam, just to fuck up the borders. The Empire of Japan has been doing quite some expansion. They of course take Korea and Tagasako, or Taiwan, but they also took all the Philippines. They took modern day, I guess this is Malaysia today, isn't it? And look at that, they're also like Japanifying it rather intensely. And yeah, they just took this part as well, and we're already seeing some Japanese immigration. Man, gotta do a Japan campaign at some point. I've said that before, and I will do it. I just have trauma over the Japan campaign I did in Pop Demand mod, where I just got wrecked by Russia so hard that I rage quit to the point of never even bothering to upload the Let's Play. So, but I will recover my honor at some point and get around to doing it. So yeah, China is split up, and for some reason they haven't really done too much work in trying to unify. Manchuria has become a dominion of Japan, huh? Guess that's historic. New Zealand is a thing, even if it looks rather uncolonized. Australia never got any autonomy, which means that a lot of it is actually English instead of... Yeah, there's like not that much Australian-ness going around. It's mostly just Irish, Aborigine, and British, or I mean English, as it is in this mod. Yeah, that's the political map mode. Let's move on to diplomatic, which is mainly interesting to see our core provinces. We were able to core about half, or well, 4 out of 7 provinces in Bosnia, and we were also able to get a core in Split in Dalmatia. Sadly, Zadar and Dubrovnik and these provinces here never got incorporated. Don't know why exactly, like what determines whether or not certain provinces will be incorporated or not. But there you are. So that's neat. It's not very often that you're able to conquer another province in Europe and then actually core the thing. I mean, in the Russians... Oh, look at that. Yeah, the Russians just cored Stanislav. That's very recent. Yeah, the Russians were able to not only conquer Lvov or Lviv, and they were also able to fucking core the place. Well, except for this province, but no. That would have come in time. Who knows, maybe they even would have conquered this place, because it's actually majority Russian at this point. So that's rather interesting. This is the place they conquered during the war, which they helped me... What did I do then? Was I guess it was... Yeah, I think it was the one... Yeah, I took Bosnia from the Ottomans. Fuck me. Yeah. Regions, revolt, blah blah blah. Not interesting. Administrative. I guess we can see the administrative efficiency. Bosnia was forever stuck in this sort of sense of being very inefficient for some reason though. Because if you look at the actual workforce, you have stuff like 11% bureaucrats. I guess that's because I encouraged a bunch of bureaucrats, but then I ended up murdering a bunch of them. So, like, you can't... Oh, never mind, I can actually encourage bureaucrats now, but there was a time when I couldn't do that because there was too many bureaucrats already in the province. Which was weird, because the province still had very low administrative efficiency. The colonial, naval, blah blah blah, not super interesting. Yeah, I guess it's time to have a look at the culture map mode, which is often the most interesting one. The main thing, of course, being the fact that Hungary is very Hungarian indeed. We were even able to Hungarianize our newly acquired provinces. which of course was a key, thing in the process of coring these provinces. Yeah, we of course did that through insanity and genocide. The one province that resisted was Trenčín. Although the Hungarian minority here was slowly increasing, so in time it would have become Hungarian as well. And this province also still has a small, barely a Slovak minority, but that's definitely been like a major increase. Also, we have these Gur people who keep showing up into my nation. Like, they're hanging out over here. Though I guess they are currently getting assimilated as they move in, so it's all good. Where are these people from anyways? I guess they're from here. Yeah, this is our most Hungarian colony. Maybe with the exception of Ubangi Shari, which is the modern-day Central African Republic. Which has, I wonder if it has a majority population of Hungarian at this point. No, it's still Ubangi. But still, 35.7% Hungarian. It's pretty good. Especially when you consider the fact that our colonial policy is a civilizing mission. Which does increase assimilation rate and education efficiency, which is good. It will increase religious conversion, but it will also increase the necessity of bureaucrats. Okay. But yeah, non-colonial nation. Or I mean, settlement. That one, man, that has to be like a thing I'm gonna do at some point in, when I play HFM. Settlement sounds fun. Seeing how much you can settle stuff. Although you would presumably want to play as a big nation, so like France or something. See how French you can actually make Algeria. Could be interesting. The Greeks are suffering for what they usually do in this game, which is the fact that despite owning a province, the minority cultures in those provinces are the ones who are actually growing and not the actual Greek population. I remember that happening from my own Greek campaign. Yeah, this area became completely Russian for some reason, as I pointed out. I mean, the Russians, as always, have been hard at work establishing their culture in provinces, although no one decided to live in Yarsale and Kalmarsede. So, well, there is one person who sits around, although he presumably has no actual culture. So I don't know exactly how that works, but there you are. The Caucasians were actually, interestingly enough, allowed to stay. Which is funny when you consider the fact that all of the other Caucasian peoples were basically assimilated into hell. And the Caucasus is now very much a Russian area. Yeah, we have these like odd places, like for some reason the Russians just decided, you know what, this province in particular, fuck that. Oil, we don't need that. We'll leave that to the local Turkmen and Persians to deal with. Not our problem, man. Man, you can really see the difference in ethnicities here. You can see like these massively populated Russian provinces that are like being core integrated and shit. How does that look actually? Yeah, you can see that the Russians have been coring these provinces. And then you can see the difference in like population. Well, okay, there are a fuck ton of people here as well, but not in this province. Although I guess that's because of its desert environment. So I guess that makes sense. But still, it's interesting. It's the big part of the fun of Victoria 2 is seeing these like ethnic and the world is so dynamic. It feels immersive in a way that EU4 can never quite achieve. So, well, that's my opinion anyways. I guess we'll finish off Europe. Italy was able to mostly assimilate Savoy from the French or Arpatian cultures. However, the French have reconquered it though, so that I guess that they will undo that. Although, the provinces never got the French cultural unity modifier, so it would presumably take a while. Aosta also became mostly Arpatian, although Arpatian is not an accepted culture anymore, after the French did the whole unity of culture thing. So, there you are. The French also for some reason never had a core on this province. I'm not sure if that's a bug or not, or what's going on there, but it's a thing. The Catalans and the Basques and, all of that, they're getting assimilated and removed. Also, Galician is a culture in this mod. Do the Portuguese accept that? They do. So yeah, that would have made for an interesting thing in my Portugal campaign. Did I take Galicia in that one? I actually don't remember if I did. Still though, could be an interesting way to try and core the provinces as Portugal. Yeah, the Germans have also been doing rather well when it comes to assimilating their lands. Much better than they generally do in normal HPM. I'm assuming it has something to do with the Drag nach Osten modifier, which increases assimilation rate by 50%. But more importantly, it increases immigration attraction by 500%, which is rather insane. No immigration is going on. Right, I just reloaded the game because I accidentally played until you know, where you get that pop-up that says like, perturb, you know, the game is over, fuck off. And that would obviously make looking around the world like this more challenging. But yeah, the hilarious side effect of this is if you look at the population, you can see that the eastern provinces are actually way more populated than the western ones. I mean, Berlin has a population of just 325,000 compared to the fucking Breslau, which has almost 1 million. Another interesting thing is our capital has 1.17 million people. But it's actually one of the bigger cities in Europe. Prague beats it, but Prague always beats everything. London, of course, beats it, but Paris, yeah, Budapest is bigger than Paris, it's bigger than Brussels, bigger than Amsterdam, bigger than Berlin, bigger than Madrid, bigger than Rome, yeah, bigger than Istanbul. It's huge, man. It's fucking huge. So that's neat. Yeah, I guess we can look a bit on this population map mode, although I don't think anything revolutionary will be seen. I mean, things are pretty normal. There's a lot of people in Saigon, though. Yeah. Yeah, no, this all looks pretty standard. A lot of people in Australia, actually. And the game claims that there's a fuck ton of people there, but that's just the way this map mod works, which can be a bit odd sometimes and misrepresenting. Although Chicago has turned out to be very large. Yeah, Chicago is larger than New York, actually. That's interesting. Let's get back to the culture map mod. Yeah, so the Germans have Drag nach Osten and been assimilating and mainly just, you know, outmaneuvering, or I don't know what you would call it. They've been fucking around in the East and making the shit German. They were never able to get Metz though, but they were pretty darn close to making it majority German. Yeah, 32% South German. If that would have bumped up a bit further, that would have changed the entire color of the province. But yeah, I mean, technically the province is actually majority German, but since German is split into two cultures like it is, gets a bit silly looking. Britain, yeah, the English in general have been assimilating the other peoples. We see the Welsh being pushed back into Cardigan. Also the Highlands have become majority English. Also the Welsh have decided to move to the Orkneys and Shetland. And they have, yeah, they are now a bigger population than the local Scots. Ireland as well. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with these Anglo-Irish. Like, I'm pretty sure, do they start out in Dublin like this? Presumably they start up here, but they have moved about and done their thing. Do you accept Anglo-Irish? You do, actually. Like, what is Anglo-Irish? Is it supposed to represent, like, English-speaking Irish people? Or is it English people who just so happen to live in Ireland? If any Irish people in the comment or are watching, then feel free to enlighten me in the comments. Or who knows, maybe Anglo-Irish is something invented by this mod, I don't know. The Greeks have actually been doing fine here in Thrace, the Anatolian nation, which is not an actual thing, it's just there to make the Greeks not being assimilated. Yeah, seems like the Greeks are doing a better job at establishing themselves in in Turkish Thrace than they are in their own land of Thessalia. Lithuania has not done too well. They have basically been just wrecked by the Russians and the Polish, so Lithuania is dead. Well, they still to some extent exist in modern day Belarusia, so that's the thing. Yeah, the Swiss culture, blah blah blah. Let's have a look at Africa. Well, we have already seen our own glorious Hungarian colonies. The French have been hard at work incorporating the Congo and the Gabon. Somali, that's normal, I guess. The Portuguese have been doing their standard thing, which includes not really giving too many shits about Angola, and instead moving into these specific provinces. There's a pretty good amount of Portuguese people all over the place, though. They probably could have made some of these places into states if they had focused their national focuses and whatnot. The Boers have been hard at work assimilating as well. Cape colored, that's a new culture. Interesting. Is that like a generic colored culture, or is it just for the Cape? Seems like it's, well, I guess this is the Cape as well, or is it? I don't actually know. No, it says Eastern Cape, so I guess this is counted as the Cape. Xhosa or whatever. Yeah, English, Boer, and colored. South Africa is a mix of a bunch of cultures, and of course, you know, isn't it Xhosa or Xhosa, or I don't know. Zulus, Sotho, Khoisan. It's all there, man. Yeah, the English are also hard at work over here, and yeah, Southern Rhodesia, English and Boer. So yeah, 1.85 million. Those are quite good numbers. Yeah, Northern Africa, Spanish have actually been doing quite well at making Al Rif, or Spanish Al Rif, Spanish indeed. French as well, I've pointed out this earlier, are hard at work assimilating and incorporating Algeria to the point where a lot of these places are states. Probably could have made Constantine a state as well if they had, you know, given a shit. Yeah, we can look at this map mode to get an idea of where the European immigrants have shown up. Kenya and Rift Valley and southern Somaliland is all reasonably English. Although you can't see it much on the map, but you know, you can see it by the fact that it's become states. Southern Sudan as well. And the English have just been going insane. I'd like to know what their immigration policy is, or colonial policy, so that I could know. So it's funny how certain nations just don't seem to give a shit about civilizing themselves. Or westernizing. Ooh, look at this. Oh, never mind. Of course. Wait. Okay, that's odd. For some reason, the vast majority of Indonesia are not actually proper provinces and are instead just colonies. Which is weird, because it shouldn't be very difficult to accept or to incorporate them. Yeah, the primary population is Javan. So how on earth can Java, which has like mostly Javan people in it, except for some Dutch minorities, not be a state? I guess once again they just don't know how to actually encourage bureaucrats. I mean, look at this shit though. British are, instead of releasing Australia, they're incorporating it as states. Also, New Guinea have also been statified. And yeah, fuck ton of English people have decided to move over here for some reason. Man, colonial migration seems to be quite intense in HFM mod. Yeah, South America looks normal, except for the intensely French Guyana, although I don't think that's too abnormal though. Also, what's going on here? The Scottish have for some reason taken a very good liking to Guatemala. Alright. Texan, yeah, I guess this is interesting. The native cultures were able to survive to some extent because the Canadians and British never bothered getting up here. Also, you can see how a lot of French Canadians have moved out to the east here. Even if certain parts of Quebec have become Anglo. Guess they switched things around a bit. Asia, yeah, Japan is colonizing shit. Yeah, they're even harder to work here in Korea. Once again, you should turn these into states. Like, what are you doing, Korea? Don't you understand how this works? Okay, I guess they don't, because they're an AI. And even worse, they're the Paradox Victoria 2 AI, which is not known for its brilliance. Also, I love how the parts of modern-day Ukraine who are to some extent Russified, at least in terms of language, are turning Russian in this game as well. Same with the Crimean Peninsula. Well, southern part of it anyways. This one province in Poland as well became super Russian. So yeah, I think that's it. Can't just think of any other map modes that would be super interesting to have a look at. And I think that wraps up our Let's Play. So there we are. At the end we had 22% Hungarian, although of course it's mainly because the majority of our population come from our African colonies. But we were able to successfully test out my submod. And I've gotten a lot of ideas for how to potentially improve it. Whether or not I'll actually ever get around to doing that, I'll have to see over the Christmas break. Because I'm not actually sure how I would go about doing things. Because as I said, I don't really know how to... Like, I would have to learn to make decisions and shit like that. So, I don't know. Anyways though, yeah, thanks so much for watching this episode, and also thanks so much for watching this Let's Play, and until the next one, bye.